Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Well, we're all a bit worried last night when Cameron Carter-Vickers went off at half time, and let's face it, we all thought, oh, not another injury. He looked fine before he went off at half time. He had just had that chance to do a little back heel and try and score a goal, but Brendan Rodgers has provided an encouraging update on the Cameron Carter-Vickers injury, and it was just a little tweak. The USA international was replaced obviously by Nat Phillips at half time in the break, left many wondering whether he had picked up an injury in the first half. Following the game, Rodgers spoke to the media and he said that the central defender had a substitute after feeling tightness in his hamstring, and he was taken off just as a precaution. It was just a precaution. He felt his hamstring was a little tight. He wanted to continue, but there's no point in risking when it's a centre half. We had a centre half on the bench, so Cameron Carter-Vickers did want to play on, but the team and the manager thought better of it, which is kind of good because we've got an important game away to Kilmarnock, who won at Aberdeen last night. They won their first away game of the season at Aberdeen. What a mess Aberdeen are in. They're now second bottom of the league. And as I said in the live last night, I'm only mentioning Aberdeen purely for the fact that we are looking at the Aberdeen striker. It would be a good time to go in for the striker so that it gives Aberdeen, and if they do sack Barry Robson, which has to happen as far as I'm concerned, they are on 13 points. Livingston are on 10. And they're almost rooted to the bottom of the table. So when a new manager comes in, he'll want some money to spend. What a better time for Celtic to then go and hand them £4 million for a striker, and then he can go and buy some new players. But anyway, back to Cameron Carter-Vickers. Following the game last night, Cameron Carter-Vickers, he missed obviously the second half, but Rodgers said it was just a precaution. When you see the games that were coming up, we'll have Kilmarnock at the weekend, and then we have is it an important game or is it a dead rubber game? We still have the opportunity to get £2.5 million for a win next Wednesday in the Champions League, and it's important that we need our best players. Now remember, Cameron Carter-Vickers missed the Champions League last season and part of this in this season. So it's important that we have our best players for the game next week. Hence the reason that Brendan Rodgers kept him out the second half. Rodgers said that he'd been in training. He's well ahead of Rocky and Lagerbielke. But where does that leave Nat Phillips? I mean, if Lagerbielke and Rocky, they were brought in as replacements for Carter-Vickers and Carl Starfelt, let's face it, but they can't even get on the bench when we have someone that's in play. And let's face it, Phillips cost us a goal last night. Greg Taylor also went off, and the injury update with him is that it wasn't an injury. He'd been struggling with a little bit of the flu during the week. He wanted to play. The Scottish international was impressive the first half. He was substituted for Tony Ralston in the second half. Brendan Rodgers went on to say, well, we're just giving the players a little bit of a break. And it's all about squad rotation at this point in the season with lots of important games coming up. So it's absolutely fantastic news about Cameron Carter-Vickers. There is no injury to talk about, and Greg Taylor isn't injured also. But many people were probably going, maybe it would be better if Greg Taylor was injured. Will Celtic go out and buy a left back in just a couple of weeks' time at the window, or will they go out and buy a striker? Due to the fact that we will not have two of our main strikers during the Asia Cup, we will need to get someone in, and it'll be interesting to see what happens during that transfer window.